All right, we're going to go ahead and call our February the 16th meeting to order. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes from January 19th?
Yes.
Is there any objections or are there any corrections that need to be made?
I did not see it. Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, first, let me start by doing roll call. I need to back up just a moment here. So, Chairman Mark Alvarez, District 4 Commissioner, present. I'm going to skip it. DCA, Frederick Perry.
Present.
Fire Chief, Roderick Jolivet.
Present.
E911 Director, Katrina Harley.
Present.
EMA Director, Jason Milholland.
Present.
Chief Deputy, Kenneth Connor.
Present.
Lieutenant Colonel Tavarius Pounds.
Present.
Chief Russell Tizon.
Present.
And Warner Godwin's not here. We'll go ahead and we are new added member, Animal Control Director Vanessa Franskowski. Okay. All right. So now that everyone's had a chance to look at the meetings from our minutes from our January 19th meeting, I'm going to go ahead and all those, or may I get a motion to accept the minutes from the previous January 19th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Second. All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. We're just going to go ahead and go around from each department. This is not going to be a SPLOST meeting today. We're going to just get an update from each department about anything that we need to be aware of, or anything that you'd like to bring to the committee's attention. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our fire department with Chief Jolivet.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Right now, we're dealing with funding. We got a grant that came in that good news for the county. It's also going to help us with ISO and also safety for the community. So we had a team that was put together to bring in a good grant, and it delivered. So thankful to Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners for all they've done to help make that possible. And the grant writer was so happy. He called me screaming. He said, "Oh yes!" So good news on that end. In terms of our ambulances, we're going through an inspection today. We have a state here doing inspections, and so far everything is going great. So we have to have the license for each ambulance, and that inspection is a detailed inspection. We've been preparing for a while, so so far so good on that part. In terms of splosh and stuff like that, or trucks, we're proposing getting a new truck, ladder truck, and also an engine for station number 9. We met this morning with the architect and the team that's working with the building department. So that station should have a set of plans out and ready for bid and all that pretty soon. And we expect to be in that station on May 1st of 2024. So we're working now. We have 15 months to get engine, a ladder, heavy rescue, and an ambulance. So we're working the procurement and all that to get that taking place. So pretty busy. So we're just looking forward to this year going by so fast.
Yeah.
We open the month up and it's already, we already into February, short month. So but everything's going great.
Just for the minutes, just so that our citizens will know, how much was that grant that we get?
It was $9,600,000 some change. 9,600,000, and it was no match. That's what's so beautiful about it. No match, and it's over a 3-year period, so we get 3.7 million each year to help hire new firefighters.
Yeah, I seen that.
And this group of firefighters are going to be an elite group. We're going to be looking in all districts of the county, doing recruitment, And we'll be going through a real stringent process. We're gonna hire 45, and we have about 10 months to train them. So when they come out online, they're gonna be EMTs, they're gonna be driving, firefighter 1 and 2, all the hazmat. So they're gonna be a top-notch group, and it's gonna really help augment what we're doing for our citizens. We're looking forward to that. So everybody that want to be a firefighter, start getting ready, because we're gonna be looking for 45 firefighters.
That's great. That's great. Okay. We'll go with Jason Milholland, EMA Director.
One of the things we did this week is, we had several counties that were affected by tornadoes earlier this year that got declaration disasters. And EMA specialist Kim Lewis and I went down to see how they were running their what we call a disaster recovery center. She had never seen one at a local level. She worked with FEMA and sees at a national level. But so we went down there, and I've not run one in several years. We've not had one where we had to open a disaster recovery center here. So I went down to see how they were flowing things through that disaster recovery center, and so it was, gained some knowledge, some small changes in which partners you're bringing in. So just brought by that we probably need to go back and look and update the plan for opening one. What location we want to use. They were actually using a senior center. And they had a good room and it could flow for people to come in. And what it is where a citizen that's been affected can register for federal assistance and also get assistance from sign up for loans from the Small Business Administration. And where a big thing is permitting when after a disaster, people coming in to get their permits, rebuilding permits and stuff like that. And also a place where we have a big problem, and this, I've been speaking to several different groups about this, is after we have a disaster where they have a lot of damage, people that are not certified builders and the contractors come in, they put a magnetic sign on their door, they come and take people's money that they got initially from the insurance company, then they leave and never show up and do the work. So I want to work with our public relations folks and have something in the can, let's say, that if we have something, they can put it out. Don't sign up for any of these companies that are knocking on your door. Look at your roof for hail damage or whatever, because every time we have a hailstorm, people get ripped off. In this county and everywhere else. It really is something that I feel strong about. We need to really get that and try to get that ready to go out to our public, and you maybe do something before, but definitely have something that we can really push out hard if we have a big event in it. But that's kind of what that disaster recovery center is, get those things lined up. Also, we looked at their donation center where they use, one of the churches gave room for, and that's what you usually do. You try to find a church or somewhere with a warehouse type or a gymnasium that'll let you set up, where because people will send a bunch of stuff after disaster when they ask for, and the people need can come through and almost like a shopping store, go through and get tarps or water or what supplies they need to try to get themselves through the event until they get their insurance settlement. And some of the nonprofit groups can help them if they don't have insurance and stuff like that. But so we just look at just get these laid out. Some of the things we laid out before. Those businesses are gone or something else is in there. So it's just time we revisit it before we get hit with something. And we're trying to get this on the back end. I want to have it up front. So that's one of the we're going to be kind of working on the next few months. And the other thing is I was looking back at our, we have something that everybody that's involved with disaster is supposed to take by federal mandate called NIMS. I think you took it before back in your previous, the Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, 911. They do as part of their basic training with the recruits. But we have some folks, probably like animal control is big in a disaster. They really need, I need to get with the director and to make sure that they can sign up online. It's the online courses they can sign up with, and they can get checked off on those, and probably some of the other Department of Transportation, Road Department. Some of them have had it, some of them have, depending on how long they've been there. So just go back and kind of revisit that. It's just make work compliant. So if we're audited, we can look and say, we're continuing on, and where they can catch you off guard. It's like say, these other departments that are not what people think, the blue lights, red lights. It's these other departments that are very crucial in the disaster. They're involved that also need that training. So we want to kind of review that and reach out to those departments and try to get it, make sure we're as compliant as we can be on that.
All right. Our emergency 911 director, Ms. Harley.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first thing I'd like to discuss is we are in the process of establishing a memorandum of understanding with the Community Services Board. We are kind of piggybacking off of what Fire EMS did with their MOU. What's proposed to happen is we will have a licensed clinical social worker inside of the emergency 911 center for those callers who are experiencing mental health crisis. And so we will put that in the next, not this work session coming up, but the work session after that, we'll be putting that forth. And the second thing is Director Milholland and we have been meeting, and we also met with our team. It was time for us to look at our emergency notification system in the county. We have, the county has been with OnSolve Code Red for a number of years. And so we wanted to see just other emergency notification systems that were out there. They all offer similar services regarding weather alerts and any other kind of emergency alerts. And so we decided to stay with Code Red. Last year, we only signed a 1-year positive action renewal. This year, Code Red is providing a discount, providing that we commit to a 3-year deal. And I know we've been with them since when you have the historical knowledge.
It's been since we started. What happened when we first began the notification system? We were at what our first call was was a group that we used. They were bought out by Code Red, so it's kind of after they bought out, so it switched to that. So technically, it's a different company, but it's just a bought out company. But it was time this year that we wanted to look at and make sure that new players in the game and see if anybody could be competitive in pricing and services. So we just reviewed it. And after reviewing Director Hall and their staff, we can kind of keep what we have, so we're familiar with it, as long as we have an out with our 3-year deal.
Yes. Any questions on that?
Are they willing? Is it a significant savings, or is it just enough that it's going to matter?
They are all very similarly priced.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen though if we chose another company is if we would have to do a huge public relations campaign,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times the companies say that they can port that data over. So that would require citizens to re-sign up potentially, and a huge push to make sure that citizens know that we've changed. And so but Code Red has not given us any significant areas of concern as a company. And they actually came in just a little bit under what the other companies came in under. And then the third thing is April is National Telecommunicator Week. And so we will be putting a proclamation declaring that week before the Board of Commissioners in the March work session.
All right,
Mr. Chair.
you go ahead.
I want to piggyback off the Community Service Board co-responders.
Mm-hmm.
We have made significant leeway in getting that implemented. It did pass legal review, and right now we're just getting the signatures together so we can get it to Madam Chair to sign off on it. But they've been training with us, and it's going to be a big impact for the law enforcement, community, our responders. So it's going to roll out pretty soon once the medical director signed it, and once Community Service Board already signed off on it. But once they get to Madam Chair's office and she signed it, we're going to implement it right away. So that's going to be a immediate help to our people out in the field. So I wanted to mention that that's a big piece, and then like Director Harley said, once that gets going, then the E9 will want to have somebody in there as well. So it's it's gonna be a good program, co-responder type program, and law enforcement, we met with the sheriff department, and they already wanna, start to get involved with it as well, so. They have a team of, people out there that's counselors and stuff like that, and it's gonna be. So we look to see that real soon, once we get the signature signed off on, but legal has already cleared it. And, just a matter of getting all the signatures and getting it going.
Okay, good. Whoever wishes to, Lieutenant Colonel Pounds or Deputy Connor.
I know I sound like a broken record every time I come on, but 53 people short. We're about at the end of April. We got people retiring. We got a couple people that's actually, one guy moving out of the country, moving back to Canada. So we are still in need of people there. And that's really the biggest thing that we got. I know that Madam Chair is working on some things, and hopefully that will go through for us, or maybe attract some more people. I don't know what the case may be, but that is it as far as personnel goes. We would like to actually go through with working on starting our Black Creek project if we can, because that's a lengthy process. Probably going to take maybe close to, or maybe even over a year. So if that can be approved, we can go ahead and get started with that. We've got other things that we could actually work on, but that won't cost us a whole bunch of money, or maybe not even much, or any money, but we just need to be approved and get to go ahead to do that. You understand? So
yep.
That's all I got. Chief, you got anything?
No, other than apparently when the courthouse security system was revised a couple years ago, they deleted about 28 cameras throughout the building. And most of those are in our holding cell areas, specifically in the juvenile holding cell areas. So for those of you who don't know, there's holding cells behind pretty much every courtroom. And that holding cell area is designed so that it services 2 courtrooms. So it's in between the walls, basically. And that upgrade, for whatever reason, I don't know, of course, people retired that dealt with that, but they deleted all those cameras, and I'm assuming it's a budgetary issue. And so that's one of the things that's in our SPLOS, and I actually sent it out to y'all earlier today. In the past, things that deal with the courthouse are handled under the courthouse maintenance budget. And that being one of them, they provide the computers and take care of the chairs and everything associated with the sheriff's office in this building. And Mark Price, we spoke to him, and there's several things that need to be updated that wasn't updated in the previous update, which is a control room forward, re-implementing these cameras back in place, and I think they need servers. So server refresh. So I updated that to include that in the SPLOS in the event that y'all want to make that part of public safety, because technically it is, even though it don't normally come out of our budget, it may be something that could be could help supplement the courthouse maintenance budget. Because it does present an issue in public safety and in the safety and security of this building and the employees in this building when we can't see what's going on the unsecured floor of a courthouse. So, in that packet, we've highlighted in red the things that are must have, and then the ones in yellow are, very high importance. So I think that y'all have the most up-to-date version of that we have, but it is a concern with those cameras, and I think Mark is trying to help get it funded through the SPLOS. So,
Okay.
Commissioner Alcaraz?
Yes.
It's Rick Martin. My apologies for not being there in person. But I just wanted to chime in after the sheriff's office was finished.
Sure, go ahead, Rick.
Excuse me. We were quite successful, the fire department, in pulling together a press conference Friday that involved highlighting some life-saving measures of our firefighters and paramedics working together. It was a well-attended event to alert the public to what occurred as they entered a burning building. After the occupants were able to escape the home unharmed, their family pet was unconscious on the second floor, rescued by one of our firefighters, and paramedic Anderson, performed CPR with their colleagues in administering oxygen. But to have the story told, to be transparent and share the radio traffic with the press and the public, it told a wonderful story that, what our fire and EMS teams sort of deal with on a daily basis. I want to, kudos to, the Board of Commissioners with having me, work in this role to gather the facts and information to help tell the story. Many thanks to all of you. So, that came and still got a lot of online traffic, and we were able to emphasize just as well how important our 911 dispatchers were in part of that. Moving on, I'm working with Deputy Chief Phillips to hold an open house sometime in April, a significant event that would work to help retain employees as well as recruit others. So, please look forward to that in April. Fire Chief mentioned the co-responder program as well. So we've been discussing, ways to help publicize that as well. And a number of significant promotions on our social media, including, with Black History Month, emphasizing Dr. Miles Allen, PhD, the first in his role. So that was a well-received highlight to mention. And we were able to tell other stories, such as a father bringing his son to apply for a position in Douglas County. I think that's a story not often told, but we were able to tell that with attempts and hopes to encourage others as well. So, we talked about, we posted some training, including hazmat training, childbirth training, a lot of what our recruits are doing. So we've really been working diligently to emphasize that the fire and EMS department is more than, a department that responds to accidents and emergencies. There are lots of administrative events, including a significant SPLOST meeting that occurred today that included, Fire Chief as well as others from the SPLOST program management team. This is in regards to Fire Station number 9, the brand new fire station. The architect was here in the building, and we were able to really showcase how government comes together, including our development services managing director, James Worthington. So it was really a nice picture to show how something comes from scratch with the plans and the team collaborating together. And then, just really imagining when it's completely finished, the ribbon cutting ceremony. So, I was really happy to pleased with, beginning to tell that story today. That being said, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Martin?
None? Great, thank you.
Did anyone have any questions about the courthouse?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So those holding cells, not really sure we want to talk about this to where it's noticed in the public, but I mean, there's no cameras in there?
Not anymore. When the building was built and I come here and as part of the initial security
Mm-hmm.
crew, there were cameras there. There's places for them, but they were deleted after this last security update where they, put the new camera system in and moved the the metal detectors and everything to the front door where you have a complete secure courthouse now.
So there's no, God forbid something was to happen, there's no eyes on an incident going
No,
in an immediate action where our deputies can respond immediately.
Right, and the courthouse deputies are about half staff right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you have inmates over, luckily the judges are working with us at this time and understand that we're short-staffed and are doing as much of the hearings as they can in that's virtual. But there are times that they do have to come over. And if you've got one deputy up in that holding cell area that's handling the courtroom and the other courtroom's not running, and he gets to fighting back there, I mean, if he can get to his radio, great. If not, it's possible that inmate comes out with his weapon, and we'll have a Fulton County incident.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've seen that in the news a time or two, unfortunately, where something like that happened. Yeah, that is something we definitely need to discuss. And I'll get with Deputy Director Perry here and Mr. Corbin, Director Corbin, and we'll and Madam Chair, we'll have a discussion about that. All right, we're going to move on to code.
Mr. Alfred,
Yes.
Commissioner Carson, I have a question.
Yes.
So regarding those cameras, since they were deleted or moved, what was that not in the contract for them to be put back up or added back in? Like, I'm trying to understand if they moved them and they saw that they were moved, but there were spaces there. What happened? Where was the ball dropped?
The only person that I know that was directly involved in that at this time is Mark Price, because it was him and Captain West at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he would probably be the one to ask that question to. I know that the sheriff was working directly with him, but I don't know that he'll recall specifics about the contract or why those were deleted and not replaced. But Mark Price would probably be your best bet to answer that question.
Okay, so I would say we need to pull the contracts, but also moving forward, there always needs to be, a couple of deputies or a couple of people from the safety team in order to ensure that these types of things don't happen. I know we've had quite a few things in regards to the jail, but we got to learn from these. What's done is done, but we need to learn from them and don't keep repeating these same mistakes because they are costly. And again, this is regarding safety. So it's real important that when we are executing these contracts, when people are sitting down at the table, we're looking at all things. We're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So program managers, project managers, people who are subject matter experts regarding the equipment that's needed for the jail, regarding everything. We got to do a better job at managing it and measuring where we need to be and what is the expectation, and not just execute a contract and say it's done and then leave it to be, because it costs us money and safety in this manner. So I would say pull that contract, look at it, get with Mark Price, and see if we can't get the contractors back in if it was actually something that should have been there. We need to find out why. Not just say, let's put it in the budget, or see if we can put it in SPOS, but let's see how else we can remediate it and then let that be the backup plan. That's just my suggestion, Commissioner Alvarez. I yield the floor.
Commissioner.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say to Vice Chair's point, I'll follow up with Mark Price and see if we can't get a time, maybe on tomorrow, to just talk with him through this situation, see what happened with the camera. And to your point, I don't want to go too far into this discussion because it's a
Right.
security issue. So we'll follow up with Mark. We'll pull those contracts and we'll find out where things went left and we'll report back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from the sheriff's office? If not, we're gonna move on to, Mr. Russell Tilzone, Code Enforcement.
Yes, sir. Just a quick update, just more from an operational and a public presence from our department out throughout the county, just real quickly. In the beginning of March, coming up, we're going to have a lot more proactive approach. But spring and summertime is generally bringing more complaints anyway with overgrowth of grass and, just spring cleaning stuff getting left outside. But rather than just going just on complaints with our additional officers, they'll be ready to go out in their own particular areas in the beginning of March. And we're going to coincide that with being more proactive in the subdivisions more specifically. And also in the beginning of March, we're going to be starting with a Veterans Memorial Highway on the east side. We're going to be just going from property to property, starting on the east side and just checking every property for violations, large and small, just trying to get that corridor cleaned up. The last couple of years, there's just been some incoming presences that have not kept it as it should be. So we're going to try to educate them as much as possible and then go a different route after that. Conversations just don't work. So we're going to be doing that at the beginning of March. Commercial properties just in general throughout the county. Deputy County Administrator Perry and I talked a couple months ago about a little reminder postcard system to send to the commercial properties, businesses throughout the county. We're going to get that enacted. That was an idea from him, so we're going to get that enacted in the next week or two, and then we'll do a follow-up 30 to 45 days after that, see how that has worked without us having to go out and site these properties and then see if that works from an educational point of view. With the population increase in the county, obviously we would hope that people would keep it cleaner, but unfortunately sometimes you see it go the other way. So we're trying to get ahead of it as much as we can, as quickly as we can. We're going to be updating our department website with just some information, a little bit more expanded information about certain violations throughout the county. Over on the east side off of the Florida Road corridor, there's just a lot of commercial vehicle, tractor trailer cab presence in the roadways. And we've always worked very, very well with the sheriff's department. Anytime vehicles need to be removed from the roadway, they're out there very quickly to assist us on that back half with getting the wreckers out and getting these vehicles off the roadways and clearing them out from a safety point of view. That's always been a very good relationship we've had with them. We've never had any problems removing it. So just from a presence and operational point of view, that's a lot what we have going on. I've spoken with planning. This is something that's probably going to take a couple months to get worked out, but I have spoken with planning and zoning. Some of the blighted structures around the county, regardless of the area, residential primarily, some of these blighted residential structures where we may have people illegally trespassing and living in houses that they shouldn't be. We're going to try to get with planning and zoning, review our ordinances along with the legal department, and possibly tighten up our nuisance abatement ordinance. So we can possibly, some of these homes that are possible safety issues that would eventually lead to some other criminal activities in there, maybe get these houses just leveled and raised and go along that way. That'll be part of that cleanliness proactivity we're going to try to accomplish, but that'll be a couple months down the line, step-by-step process. But other than that, that's operationally, that's what we're looking at from our presence in the county, and that's not the only update I have for the committee right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because it involves code enforcement. Last month or so, Commissioner Robinson was talking about trying to amend the code to require the service stations to have good surveillance cameras on the outside. Do we know where we're at with that?
We are looking into that. That is something that's going to be coming up, I believe, in a discussion with us very, very soon. Yeah, because that's something that district attorney's office, everyone is on board with that, because it's not only gonna help your department, but it's gonna help, quite a few.
And we had kind of taken a step forward, above that, and with the flock camera systems that we're using, we were trying to get it also, like any new developments in business parks, apartment complexes, and types of businesses like that would also be required to have these cameras installed. And currently they're $2,500 a year, which would be very successful. It's shown to be very successful. I think there was, since June of last year, been approximately 113 cases been solved just because of the flock safety cameras.
That's good. Yeah, that is something that, I think that we need to have a conversation about, because I did read up on that after you brought that to my attention. I did read up on the flock system, and a lot of places are actually implementing those. A lot of homeowner associations are implementing those in the subdivisions. So, yeah, that is something that I agree. But yes, we will get back with you in regards to where everything stands on the cameras for around the gas stations and other areas that we're discussing. All right. Anything else for code enforcement?
Yes.
Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Thank you. So, Officer Zone, there's a couple of areas in my district along Chapel Hill where the new Waffle House and I think it's Dollar General is, and it seems they finished building, right, and the store is open, but they have like bricks and debris all alongside the building.
Okay.
Is there a code that says how long they can keep something there, or
If they're finished their construction,
can we look at that?
yes, ma'am. If they're finished their construction, it should be off the property sooner rather than later. We'll go out there and
That's what I thought.
we'll go out and assess it, and we'll handle it moving forward.
Okay. And so I did hear you speak on, going around and getting the commercial developments to handle trash more. I wish we had it. I see some of the developments, the commercial developments have removed trash receptacles, and I wish we could mandate that they have to put them there, because what people do is they get out their cars and they assume that they're still there, and they're not. And what they're doing is they're leaving their trash like on the sidewalk in front of the store. Some areas are worse than others. And then, of course, when you have a lot of truck traffic, especially at the Walmarts and things, you'll notice a lot of clutter around where the trucks were parked at. Not saying that the trucks are leaving it, but just saying that they're, I've noticed that a lot in the parking lots. And I know stores have issues with employees just like us, not a lot, not a lot of people to hire, or they have not been able to hire, but they still have to understand it. They still have to keep the area cleaned, because one, it helps us to deter crime, but it also helps us to with the environment and the look and feel of Douglas County as others are coming into the county. So let us know what we can do to help you in that area. If there's, again, policy, I know we're looking at the camera system that Commissioner Robinson is pushing forth in legislation. But again, we, whatever areas we need, I know we have a litter control ordinance, but let us know how we can help you in those areas. And I know, I see Madam Chair sitting there, so I know she has a huge presence when it comes to litter control in Douglas County, but just wanted to highlight that.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll review the ordinances. Those commercial properties, I believe, if they're not, I think they might be required to have dumpsters, whether they want them there or not. I think they may be required. So I'll review that, and then if and when that happens, we'll get that squared away. That's not going to be an issue.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Anything else for code enforcement? Go ahead.
I'd mention something. We have some codes access around the building. Don't be running into any issues with access, with stuff obstructing or whatever. We have some codes that would we can deal with as well on that. Some of those commercial properties that,
Right, with the fire codes and the
yes.
exits and stairwells being unlocked and all that stuff.
Anyone else? All right, well, if nothing else for code enforcement. We're gonna move on to our newest member, Director Vanessa Franskowski.
Thank you. So an overall operations update, as of today's date, we have 175 animals in the building under our care. We have seen an increase in severe felonies and cruelties to animals. I know Russell's been out with us. We work back and forth with codes when we see certain issues going on, whether it be backyard breeders, tethering violations and whatnot. We do have three to four misdemeanor charges that are being held right now, with one pending to see if it's going to be a misdemeanor or felony in the county. We are at 21 employees as of today. We do have 2 open vacancies, 1 full-time kennel technician position and 1 part-time officer position. We have 4 operational animal control vehicles. We are down 2 vehicles. One should be on the agenda to go ahead and get the money transfer over for insurance. The other one, we're waiting and working with fleet to see if we can get any vehicles, since we do need some operational vehicles. We've surplus about 5 vehicles in the past 2 years with no replacements, so we're waiting on that. I have 4 officers currently enrolled in accredited animal control training. This will promote them to animal control officers 1 and 2, gives them additional training that would be grateful in the field. I will be training in July for a GMA conference. This goes along with Dr. Mulholland's COOP plan. Since we have assisted with GMA in Heard County on the large-scale hoarding case, this will be something that's going to be good for us to have our GMA planning for our county as well. We are assessing the possibility of post-certification for some of our officers. Since we are seeing such violent animal cruelties right now, it is putting the animal control officers further in harm's way than normal. While we do have ballistic vests and catch poles, that is the minimum that we have when we're up against somebody with a gun. So we are looking at that. It's not a for sure thing, but we want to explore those options. We do have 4 animal control officers attending training next month, and that's just further education training for them. As far as the building updates, we are working with insurance right now. I've had 3 different vendors come out to the building to give me quotes. The insurance has the final say right now on who's going to be allowed to do work in the building. But until then, we're at a little bit of a standstill.
Well, we're glad to have you because that was a lot of information that we've never had before. And that a lot of people, honestly, I don't think really, our citizens don't think about in regards to charges of animal cruelty and so forth that your department handles and the challenges that they face, out in the field. So we're glad that you're able to share that with our citizens in Douglas County.
Yeah, thank you.
So any questions for Director Franskowski? If not, is there any other business we need to discuss?
Mr. Alcaraz,
Yes.
trying to come out for you for 1 second. For Director Franchikowski, did you get your camera installed, and how is safety working for the building itself? Just wanted to update on that.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for your help in getting those cameras placed into the building. Yes, we have safety cameras all around the perimeter of the building. As of today, we've had 3 instances of people dumping animals, which all 3 of them have been on camera. We have license plate reader, so that has decreased this instance. We are no longer having vehicles broken into, and the staff does feel safe. So we are very thankful for that.
Okay, thank you. And just I couldn't hear if you gave a report as to how many animals you have in the shelter.
Yes, we have 175 total.
Okay, all for adoption?
Not all for adoption because we do have court holds for those felonies or misdemeanors. We have some that are pending for rescue at the moment, and then other ones right now are going through their stray hold period for adoption.
Got you. All right. Thank you for the update. I yield, Commissioner Alcaraz. Oh, wait, Commissioner Alcaraz, one more.
Yes, go ahead.
This may be for Director Harley or for Director Milholland. I can't remember which one mentioned this earlier in regards to setting up a control center in regards to disasters.
That'd be
And
me.
just that was that you, Director
Yes.
Milholland? Okay, okay. And I know we have quite a few resources in regards to churches. I would love for, and I know you probably are looking for that, but I would love for you to get with Church of Chapel Hill, Pastor Dave. He has a wealth of knowledge regarding a lot of the churches in the county that have resources spanning from Commissioner Alvarez's district, in Villa Rica, that area, all the way up. So I would say that would be one really, really good resource, and his church is huge. So I know he would mind partnering with the county to help us if that needed to be a command center. So I would just say get with Pastor Dave at the Church at Chapel Hill. It's on Chapel Hill. Great resource, great pastor, and lives in the community and does a lot of work. But I think that's a great idea. So I look forward to seeing how I can help you do that and get together resources and partners.
Yeah, that'd be great. The churches are always great. Well, so one, some have the property, and they also have members who are willing to serve and
Absolutely.
volunteer.
Yeah.
And disaster, everybody in this room and disasters that we've seen before, there's not a whole lot of time for us to start, try to start when we're too busy to handle it once it starts.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we need to get it handled beforehand and have that included in emergency operations plan.
Great job. Thank you. That was all, Commissioner Alvarez. I yield.
All right, man, thank you, Vice Chair Carthen. Yeah, I'll piggyback off what Commissioner Carthen says. I'm so glad we're being proactive about this instead of reactive. No one knows when that tornado is going to hit. Could be, Lord willing, it's not tomorrow or anything like that. But it's not when. It's just not a matter of if, it's going to be when. So we just got to be prepared. So
and these things, you work on these things in the past, and before you know, it's been 3-4 years. And you're like, wow, those people are gone. That's not available anymore. So it's something that you have to keep on bringing it back up to the front. Like I said, it's not do it once and done. It's a thing every several years you have to go back and revisit it, because the places we had listed and that I had on my files was like the old Walmart. We had agreements for them. That's Buggy Busters now. Buggy Busters does not want us to come in there.
right.
So things change and people change, and so just keep this updated and like Commissioner Carthen said, the churches are just a great place to start. Reach out to them, and that's what most communities do. Live that faith in action community and involve them and get them on board with you.
Yeah, and I believe us as a board we'll be glad to help and assist with reaching out to some of those in those areas, because like every one of us in our own districts know of a particular church there or somewhere of that area that would be a good help, because if it hits on District 4, or if it's on District 1 or 2, we need to get one closest to where it happens. So, but is there any other business we need to discuss? Yes,
Just one thing. I'd like to thank team member Bianca Barkley
absolutely.
for stepping in and taking the minutes. She volunteered again. So
Yeah,
Volunteer twice, you're in.
Deputy Chief took it right out of my mouth. So is there any other business we need to discuss? If there is no other business we need to discuss, we'll go ahead and call our meeting adjourned. Our next meeting will be May 18th. Our meetings from here out, they will be live in the boardroom at 3 o'clock. So we'll make sure I'm going to send each of you